Shalom, shalom. Happy Black History Month. Brother Fred Hampton has been on my heart and mind heavy lately. Every time I hear his story, it just breaks my heart every single time. Just to know that you can be a citizen of a place and your own country could do something like this is just, it's unbelievable, but very believable at the same time when it comes to our people. But if you don't know the story of Brother Fred Hampton of the Black Panther Party, I highly recommend you go and read about what happened to him and read his story. This was such a young man. He was only 21 years old when his life was taken. But I'm going to give you some facts about Brother Fred Hampton, and hopefully you go and you research him on your own, because he's definitely worth it. Beautiful, innocent life lost, a father taken from his child way too soon, and this happens way too often in our community, unfortunately, by our hands and by the hands of others. Brother Fred Hampton was born in 1948, and he was unalived in 1969 in Chicago. He was a civil rights leader and a deputy chairman of the Black Panther Party in Illinois. He also formed the city of Chicago's first Rainbow Coalition. He was unalived during a raid in his residence by Chicago police officers. Something that I really like that other countries do is they call their slain or lost loved ones martyrs. And I think I'm going to start adopting that practice, because I love the definition of a martyr, and especially when I am talking about an ancestor or an elder that was truly a martyr for our cause. An interesting fact about Hampton's family is that his mother actually babysat Emmett Till as a child. After high school, Hampton attended Trenton College and studied pre-law. In 1967, Hampton participated in a rally to integrate a public swimming pool in Maywood. After his death, that same pool was named after him. After having several negative experiences with the police at NAACP rallies, of which he was a part of, he decided to part ways with the by-the-book NAACP, and he joined the Black Panther Party. Hampton used his talent as a great communicator to form the Rainbow Coalition, which was an alliance of the Panthers and other groups. Some of those groups included the Puerto Rican Young Lords, Poor White Young Patriots Organization, and the Black Stone Rangers. The Panthers and the Chicago Police Department often clashed while Hampton was a part of the Panthers, resulting in casualties on both sides, but the violence culminated on December the 4th, 1969, when 14 officers raided Hampton's apartment on the west side of Chicago. They were provided the floor plan by the FBI, courtesy of the informant O'Neill, of which infiltrated the Black Panther Party after he was basically blackmailed by the FBI after stealing cars. A little bit about O'Neill. His name was actually William O'Neill. He was an African-American teenager who actually was accused of stealing cars under the influence of alcohol, and he crashed it. So the FBI used this to their advantage, and he was used to infiltrate and actually help subdue the Black Panther Party and its initiatives. The night of the raid that unalived Martyr Hampton, O'Neill put a sleeping sedative in his food, so he slept through the raid. He never even had a chance. He couldn't even defend himself. The FBI thought that they were going to find a stockpile of weapons, including illegal firearms, and after the raid was over, Martyr Hampton and Martyr Mark Clark were gone. The survivors of the raid included Hampton's pregnant common-law wife, Deborah Johnson, of which laid right next to him while the police carried on their shootout while they slept. She was arrested for attempted murder, even though she never fired a shot. Later, after all of the lies were debunked and the truth was revealed, it was found that nearly 100 shots were fired during the raid, all except perhaps one. And that shot was an accidental shot that was a reflex by Mark Clark after he had been unalived and he had his gun sitting in his lap. That one single shot from Mark Clark in the Black Panther Party actually wasn't aimed at any of the police officers. That shot actually went up into the ceiling. Initial autopsies did not find any barbiturates in his bloodstream, which is a sleeping sedative. Go figure. However, subsequent autopsies did find barbiturates in his bloodstream. During the raid, Johnson tried to wake him repeatedly, and it failed because he had already been given a sleeping sedative by O'Neill, and they were not aware of this. According to Johnson, when they removed her from the bedroom that she shared with MARTYR Hampton, she heard one of the police officers tell the other that Hampton was barely alive. And the other officer commenced to shooting 2 fatal shots at point blank range to the head of Hampton. And he said, quote unquote, he is as good as dead now. There was huge outrage over Hampton's unaliving, and the state attorney, Edward Hanrahan, was going to run for mayor, but his political career was ended by this event because he was actually over the police department at this time. In 1990 and again in 2004, the Chicago City Police Council designated December the 4th as Fred Hampton Day. Many years after their lives were taken, the families of Mark Clark and Fred Hampton actually won a settlement in the amount of $1.8 million. In addition to the fact that this wasn't nearly enough and it took way too long, no one ever served any time or was accused or served any time for their involvement in their untimely passing. There's so much to say about this whole situation and the MARTYR Hampton. The Black Panther Party, Brother Hampton, they did food programs, outreach programs, and they taught our people about their rights, knowing the law, etc. Not saying that it was all perfect. However, this movement was sparked out of something. It was sparked out of a reason, out of a cause. But this particular video is about MARTYR Hampton, and the circumstances surrounding his unaliving were truly disgusting. They're still disgusting. This man laid in the bed next to his pregnant fiance, and they took his life just right there. They took a defenseless man's life because he was trying to bring people together. The biggest threat was the fact that he was bringing people together of different backgrounds, different cultures, and he was only 21 years old. So he was seen as a huge threat because if he was doing all of this at 21, imagine what he would have been doing at 30 or 40 or 50. This man was, I hate to call him a baby, but he was in the prime of his life, the beginning of his life. He didn't even get to see his child be born. He never even got to be officially married. So these are the things our people are going through, and we have to definitely dig into the past. Everybody wants us to always forget about it, stop talking about it. But these are the stories we need to hear. And we need to give our due respect to the elders because there are a lot of advantages, a lot of perks and benefits and rights that we have today on the backs of our martyrs. So I want to thank you all for watching and listening, and you be blessed.